His second prayer was, give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with the food allotted to me. Why? Verse 9. Lest I be full and deny you and say, who is the Lord? That means mammon becomes his God. Or lest I be poor and steal and profane the name of my God. So in the heart of God, the matter is not wealth or riches or poverty. In the heart of God, the place he wants to bring you is a place where you are comfortable, lacking nothing. So when I say that, like last week, some people are still struggling. There are some people who are sending me messages, they are struggling. How can you say that Jesus was not rich? They are struggling. That wait, this man likes preaching things that are not true. How can you say that Jesus was not rich? In fact, I looked at one of the comments under the live video after we finished, and somebody said, he didn't know how to argue the matter. I just wrote in capital letters, Jesus was a rich man. So that in case you read it and you think he's joking, he wrote it how? In capital letters. He's a rich man. We cannot wrap our minds around it. Do you know what made Jesus rich? Jesus was neither full nor empty. He was not poor in the sense that he lacked. And he was not rich in the sense that he had all the money in the world. What made Jesus unique was access. That's what is wealth for the believer. Access. That's what makes a believer rich. Access. The unlimited resources to God, that in God you have access to it. So if Jesus needed bread, he could multiply it. He didn't need to build a bakery. Do you see the difference? The man who is laboring under the yoke of Adam, he needs to build a bakery to prove that he's wealthy. Jesus had access to unlimited resources. He didn't need to go to work to earn a living because he understood that life was more than food and clothing. So anytime he had a need, he just needed to look to his father. Are they hungry? Okay, we will send food. That's how a wealthy Christian lives. He doesn't need all the money in his bank account. The one who has all the money is his father. So when he's in need, he just needs to call home. You know when you were in school now? Not the kind of fathers we had. We didn't have a father on ground. So sometimes when you call home and you say, there's no money, they say, manage the next week. Then when you manage the next week, they say, your mates that don't have they died? If they've not died, you will not die. Manage. Then you keep managing. But this one, you can call home. And as long as it's a need, he will have your needs met. That's what made Jesus accurately wealthy. He was not wealthy in the way you measure wealth in the natural. He was wealthy as a spiritual man is supposed to be wealthy. He had access to unlimited resources. A cattle on 1,000 hills are the Lord's. The Bible calls him the multi-breasted one. He can satisfy all men. There's no time he will come and he will say, no food for you. He has your portion waiting. He has it waiting. That's what it means to be rich in this kingdom. Because it's possible that if you are rich in the indices in which men measure wealth, you can become full and deny the Lord and say, who is the Lord? You know why? Because you can readily point to the things that your hand did that supposedly brought the money. Are you with me? You get a job in Shell or in Chevron or in Total or in Enigia, one of these great oil companies in Nigeria, and they are paying you salary of 1.something million. Who will you think? Is it not your job that you'll be taking? In fact, you'll be saying, I thank God for this job, because without this job, I for not feed they eat. So all the emphasis is on the job. So it is very easy for you to begin to think that the channel of wealth in your life is because of what you are doing to get it. So a point can come in your life that you begin to ask, who is the Lord? Is it not because I graduated with the first class? If I didn't have the first class, they would not have invited me for the job. I would not even be qualified to apply. So I have a first class. My brain, they touch. Who is the Lord? But on the other hand, somebody can be so poor that they are now compelled to steal to survive. So the preacher gave us wisdom. Neither give me riches or poverty. Give me access. So whenever I have a need, I can reach out to God and God will supply. That's how great men learned how to live. George Muller that we were talking about last week, every time he prayed for supply. No, just go and study George Muller. Go and study. All the prayers he prayed, God answered. I wish I can have that kind of testimony. All the prayers he prayed, God answered. Some were so critical that there was no food. They had sat down at the dining table with the orphans. No food. And God compelled a baker to bring bread. When the bread came, the maidens were saying, are we going to eat dry bread? He said, wait. A man was going to supply milk. The truck of the milk broke down directly in front of the orphanage. And you know the way they did milk those days? It was raw. If you don't use it immediately, it will spoil. So the man who was pushing the milk, it's not as if he liked the orphanage more than anybody. He just reasoned, if I carry this milk from here, this thing can spoil. So he decided to take it into the orphanage, not knowing that a man who had access had laid a request to his father. They woke up that morning without bread, without milk. By the time the morning was done, every man was fed. That's how I want to live. That's how I want to live. When you understand that life is more than food and the body is more than raiment or more than clothing, you will now begin to live in that economy. And in that economy, when you have a need, God can supply all your need.